They are slitting their own throats by failing to do a deal which is of benefit to both sides. Well, I think on this occasion that there's no doubt that the fault lies with the European Union, in particular Angela Merkel and Emmanuel Macron, the French president. They have suddenly changed the terms of reference. They moved the goalposts at the very last minute and left the British side floundering somewhat, not knowing what to do next.
I'm afraid we're still very far apart on some key things, but where there's life, there's hope. We're going to keep talking to see what we can do. The UK certainly won't be walking away from the talks. I think people would expect us to go the extra mile.
It was clear from the beginning that A, they didn't believe we would vote to leave, and B, that once we did, we'd have to be punished so that we didn't flourish and prosper as an example to others outside the European Union. You only have to look at the example of Greece back in 2015 to 2017, when they had the temerity to hold a referendum whether or not they should deal with the debt that they'd landed in and the terms that were set by the European Union for their rescue. They voted not to do it and basically set themselves on the track to become Grexit, ahead of Brexit. They would have left the European Union and the European single currency. This was crushed at the outset by the European Union and by Germany in particular, which forced them to accept a deal which has lumbered them with a debt which they'll never be able to repay and which leaves the whole country in permanent penury. The European Union has been determined from the outset to stop Britain becoming Singapore on sea. But if they don't do a deal with us, if they throw us aside and leave us to the mercies of the rest of the world, that's exactly what we will be forced to do. They are slitting their own throats by failing to do a deal which is of benefit to both sides. The only way we're going to get a deal at this stage is to find a way of setting up an impartial referee who will judge when a dispute arises over issues like employment law, job protection, environmental issues and things like that. At the moment, so far, the European Union has insisted that that must be done under the auspices of the European Court of Justice. That would be anathema to the Brexiteers. It would be totally unacceptable. But if they can find a way of having an acceptable referee to resolve such disputes, then I think they might find a way forward. It's got to be done one way or another over the coming years. It might just as well be done now. In order for Britain to really thrive and prosper and to take advantage of this hard-won sovereignty, the government has to have the will and the determination to take on the vested interests and introduce the sort of measures which help business to flourish in Britain, not anywhere else, to encourage capital to be invested in this country, to create jobs, and to bite the bullet of deregulation and free market enterprise. All of those will be bitterly resisted by the Labour Party and by the Scott Nats and all the other opponents of Brexit. But the prize is huge, not just in terms of jobs and prosperity and economic benefit, but in holding the United Kingdom together. If Britain prospers and thrives outside the European Union and is seen to do so over the coming years, I can't see how the Scots would possibly think that it'd be worth leaving and joining the sinking ship of the European Union.